And a very good evening to you. I'm Lisa Lord with this edition of the CBC Evening News. And our top story. Prime Minister Frundell Stewart says the single market component of the CARICOM single market and economy is on the march. He says the single economy element has been a little more challenging because it calls for more fundamental decisions. In an interview with the Barbados Government Information Service, Mr. Stewart noted that the single market had created an environment where goods, services and capital could move freely across the region, and the establishment of businesses through the Caribbean could be facilitated. According to the Prime Minister, there are always a few remaining things to be done, in particular the contingent rights for people who establish businesses in their respective countries. The National Union of Public Workers has called out all workers at statutory boards to attend a meeting this Thursday morning at its Dalkeith Road headquarters. It's the latest development following the dismissal of 13 workers from the Barbados Investment Development Corporation, or the BIDC, last Wednesday. All of the workers were above the age of 60, and the union has led protests against the move, declaring that it was unfair. Acting NUPW General Secretary Rosalind Smith says the union wrote the BIDC, giving them until noon last Friday to rescind those termination letters, but she says no response has been forthcoming. She says the stance taken by the BIDC will have serious implications for workers at other statutory boards, and the meeting at the NUPW gets started at 10 a.m. and that's on Thursday. Another road fatality was recorded today after a collision between a motorcyclist and a pedestrian. Dead is 68-year-old Samuel Clark of Nurseland Bankhall, St. Michael. The accident occurred on Bankhall Main Road around 10:15 this morning. The elderly man was taken by ambulance to the Queen Elizabeth Hospital but died on the way. The motorcycle was ridden by 20-year-old Shawayne Williams of Eden Lodge, St. Michael. He sustained injuries to his head, face and hands and was also taken to the hospital. Police say Williams had a pillion rider who left the scene. The 19-year-old St. Michael man charged in connection with the murder of Dion Howard has been remanded to Dodds Prison until July 20th. Jacoby Tudor of Station Hill, St. Michael, appeared in the District A Criminal Court before Magistrate Christy Cuffy Sargent. He was represented by attorneys at law Brian Clark and Sophia Moore and was not required to plead to the indictable offense. 21-year-old Howard was reportedly shot last Wednesday during a dispute with Tudor and died the following day. Well, the 16 semi-finalists have been chosen for the Sweet Soca and Party Monarch competitions next month, and 5 Calypsonians have made it to both. Lisa Broom tells us more.
From all indications, the judges for this year's Sweet Soca and Party Monarch had a tougher time on their hands, if only due to the increased number of songs entered as they chose the semi-finalists for both competitions. There were 134 entries for Sweet Soca compared with 114 last year, and 82 entries for Party Monarch compared with 52 in 2014.
For the first time we started, because of the increased numbers, we started judging Sweet Soca from Friday. So Sweet Soca actually had five preliminaries. Three. Sweet Soca had 3 preliminaries and Party Monarch had 2. So because of the increased numbers.
Adrian Clark, Hypersounds, Mikey, Blood, Kirk Brown and iWeb have done the double. In Sweet Soca, they'll be joined by Damien Marvey, Don Trent, Edwin, Imani, Mr. Dale, Nikita, Red Plastic Bag, Scorpio, Shaquille and TC, with Sanctuary as the reserve. Meantime, the other competitors for Party Monarch are Crystal Cummings-Beckles, Faith Callender, Ishaka McNeil, King Bubba FM, Lilrick, Marsville, Natalie, Peter Ram, Ramses and Sanctuary. Super Hype is the reserve for that competition. One of those who did the double and a former king in both competitions, Mikey, says he's happy and humbled by the selection. He's impressed by the quality of music this year.
I think for the semi-finals, guys can start to pull out some stops, and then whoever advances to the finals, I think it's going to be a really good Soca Royale. I'm really looking forward to the Sweet Soca at night.
And regarding the rule change that does not allow competitors to perform as a duo and an individual in the competitions, Mikey says he and his Soca Cartel partner Blood will take advantage of the change.
This year we decided, all right, we had to roll it, that one, and then we had to turn around that game second. So we said, let us give Soca Cartel in competition a rest. rebuild our individual brands.
It will be Kurt Brown's first time in both competitions, but the newbie in Sweet Soca says it just means more preparation.
Going all in, resting the voice a lot more, getting the stage preps. You know, then you also have to think ahead, making it past the semi-finals to have his stage presentation ready for Soca Royale.
And flipping on his DJing hat, Brown says the quality of music is good and commented on the number of songs available to be played.
Normally you have one or two artists being the early releases. You have Blood and His album. I mean, it had 200 tracks before the 1st of June, easily. And there's a lot of bashment, there's a lot of sweet. There's still limited party, but at least you had a lot more party than last year.
The semi-finals for both competitions will be on July 3rd at Brewster's Road. Lisa Broom, CBC News.
Thank you, Lisa. And in more entertainment news, the artist behind the song The Sofa Kings, a collaboration with John Doe, says the piece was never intended for airplay. This was revealed by Peter Ram on the first edition of CBC's festival stage this morning in response to the song being banned by several radio stations. He also shared the background to the tune.
As Peter Ram, I always do tunes for underground.
Underground?
You know, like Patter and Crying, all of them songs is underground tunes. So if people take them and fly with them. You know what I mean? It's up to them at the end of the day. But the Sofa Kings now, right now, I ain't seen nothing wrong with that to the fullest because they introduce the tune as things getting hard. You know, we going downtown.
Right.
And we selling sofas.
We're selling sofas, yeah.
You understand?
Keep listening, guys. Keep
We
listening.
selling sofas. You know what I mean? And these things selling out so much with the Kings.
Well, we'll have more news in just a moment, but first we want to get your take on this question. Do police need a different strategy to deal with motorcyclists? You can text yes or no to short code 8111 and we'll have the results for you at the end of our news.
More great cities just got closer. The Scotiabank Aero Platinum MasterCard is now even better. Fly to New York, Miami, Orlando, and Fort Lauderdale with just 20,000 Scotia points. With your new Scotiabank Aero Platinum MasterCard, you'll receive a welcome bonus of 10,000 Scotia points, so you can enjoy the cities you love most sooner than ever. Apply today. Call 426-7000 or visit your nearest branch. Scotiabank. Discover what's possible.
Hi, I'm Red Plastic Bag. Anyone who knows me knows I don't like cold. Sunshine reigns in my country. I love it.
Don't miss this fantastic offer. For a limited time, get 25% off select wines at the Platinum Wine Store in the People's Market Complex, Tudor Bridge.
Hey, coming up on the Wednesday edition of Festival Stage, promoters and party entrepreneurs, pay attention. We'll be discussing permits and policing of the Crop Over Festival. Sweet Soca semi-finalist Manley will join us, and of course, the costumes of mass invasion. We've got a date this Wednesday on Festival Stage from 11 o'clock.
Make no mistake, when you're looking for the #1 source of the latest business news in Barbados, the region, and beyond, it has to be The Bottom Line, produced and presented by me, Ryan Broom, every weekday morning on CBC's 94.7 FM at 7:50 a.m. It comes to you with the kind compliments of the Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union Limited, reminding you to save smart and borrow smarter. So remember, make it your business to tune into The Bottom Line, the best source for business news on the radio.
The local egg shortage will soon end. The Barbados Agricultural Society says Barbadians will be able to get a normal and steady supply of eggs by next month. The news from BAS Chief Executive Officer James Paul comes after initial predictions at the end of February that the shortage would be over by this month. He explains that the outbreak of the avian influenza in the United States made it hard to source hatching eggs needed for breeders in the industry here. Mr. Paul also revealed that problems are continuing with the quality of the feed available, but he tells CBC News that things are getting back to normal.
What we have seen is that it is not a universal complaint across, because some firms are claiming that they have had no problems. Others have. But we are working to try to address that as an issue, because we think that, for instance, recently we had a meeting with the feed suppliers, and they have indicated that basically that they are trying to get things back to normal. But we anticipate that in July, that the consumers could feel fully comfortable that the industry should be able to supply them if they required amount of eggs.
The BAS CEO says the egg shortage was exacerbated by the increased demand for the commodity by the hotels and restaurants during the winter tourist season. He believes local egg and poultry producers now need to focus on expansion.
The opportunity now that's being presented in terms of the fact that Barbados is becoming a home port for different cruise ships, and also if we can have a further improvement, as we have seen now in the tourism industry, I should think that the industry is in a strategic position to take advantage of this as we go into the future.
Well, given the important role the Barbados Citizens Band Radio Association plays in disaster management, Attorney General Adriel Brathwaite has signaled government's commitment towards working with that organization. It comes as the group marks its 40th anniversary. Mr. Brathwaite, who is also the Minister of Home Affairs, says a better BCBRA is good for the island.
I heard your plea in terms of training, and I want to let you know that in fact that we will work to ensure that your members in your organization are invited wherever possible to any training opportunities that we have. And in that regard, you might want to therefore let us know if there are any areas of deficiency that your organization has identified, so that we can work with you.
Mr. Brathwaite's comments came during an awards ceremony at Almond Bay, where several members of that association were recognized for their service. Acting Director of the Department of Emergency Management, Kerry Hines, says the importance of communications in an emergency or disaster situation is at times not fully appreciated.
Without a doubt, communications capacity is one of the most critical lifelines of any major emergency or disaster response operation. The ability to pass quality information in an efficient manner, making pertinent information accessible to the decision makers in a crisis, is vital in enabling emergency management officials and first responders to make timely and informed decisions that save lives and alleviate human suffering and displacement.
And President of the Barbados Citizens Band Radio Association, Randy Chandler, says the group has grown over the years. He says the association is capable of operating in any league.
It is because of you, the dedicated members, that we have achieved this milestone. I just happen to be president at this time. And I know we have the ability and drive to achieve even more. As our mission statement will read, our aim is to be a catalyst for radio communications, to encourage and promote unity among radio operators, while creating an environment for sustainable enjoyment of radio.
Well, there's some support for government's levy on soft drinks, and it's coming from the Ministry of Education. Sean Farrell tells us more.
During the recent budget, government made it more expensive for products using sweeteners like soft drinks. And the move has won favor with a senior education official. Joy Adamson is pleased a levy has been put on these drinks.
A lot of secondary schools have taken out the soft drink machines, and they're not in secondary schools anymore. Give them juices, give them water, stop the corn curls, stop the snacks, The favorite dish of every young person now is macaroni pie.
Ms. Adamson was given the feature address at the Charles F. Brooms Memorial Primary's graduation ceremony. She revealed that the Government Hill Institution was the top performing public primary school on the island in this year's Common Entrance examination. But she isn't happy with parents who leave their children at school long after the institution has closed. She wants them to try harder to pick up their children earlier on evenings.
And if they say to collect the children at 3:30, I empathize with Mr. Griffith because I have gotten calls at 7 o'clock. Ma'am, I am still here with a child at Charles F. Broom. What to do? Now, really and truly, there might be times where you might say, take him to the first police station. But we don't do that.
Meantime, valedictorian Rihanna Aline described her experiences as she gave the valedictory address.
Things we will miss. We will miss our friends, our buddy parks. We will miss the brownies and Cub Scout camps where we stayed up late and got up to mischief, and where we learned how to make breakfast and cupcakes. We will miss our playground. It was a place where we played, formed our clubs, and laughed to our heart's content. We will miss our teachers' voices. The words, "Charles, stop watching so much TV and do your homework," will forever ring in our ears.
She also tearfully explained how crucial a role her parents played in preparation for the Common Entrance examination.
Please permit me at this time to become personal and thank my parents, Pamela and Cedric Aline. Mom and Dad, from the age of 3, you showed me by the example of the spirit of a fighter. You would have taught me from then that it was not the size of the dog in the fight. I adopted that and hold it as my motto. Thank you for challenging me to always go beyond what I thought I could achieve. In that, you taught me the lesson of excelling in excellence. You are awesome, and I'm proud to have you as my parents.
81 children graduated from Charles F. Broom this year, including 2 from the special unit. Sean Farrell, CBC News.
And thank you, Sean. Well, still to come, a look at some of the stories making headlines across our region. But first, a reminder that we want to hear from you on this question. Do police need a different strategy to deal with motorcyclists? You can text yes or no to short code 8111 and we'll